Do you guys still remember those old school Scooby-Doo cartoons where it just takes them one episode to figure out who the bad guy is? I wish we could have that in real life today because I would just ask them to investigate the Nord Stream 2 pipelines. A new write-up from the New York Times has now suggested that the decision to blow up the pipelines may have come from a pro-Ukraine group. Who's the biggest supporter of Ukraine in this entire war? I can't put my finger on it, but I feel like we should know who it is. However, I do remember someone who said that he'll put a stop to the pipelines.
There will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
By the way, this write-up that we're talking about supposedly clears President Biden of any involvement with this sabotage. Also, a handful of top German news outlets have provided more information about how this sabotage all came along. Now, before I continue and before this video is suppressed, please help me out with the YouTube algorithm by liking this video. And if you're in need of your daily dose of the truth when it comes to Social Security, SSI, SSDI, the state of our economy, the stock market, the housing market, global happenings, and everything that's going on in Washington, D.C. that affects our lives, our families, and our bank accounts, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Never be caught off guard by another very expensive, unexpected home repair. Get your free home warranty quote. There's a link in the description down below this video. It's free and it only takes like 15 seconds. Now, if you support the Ukraine, what's something that you might do? Now, one of the easiest things that you can do is to donate money. Now, I've seen so many different ways to donate to the Ukraine, and that's fine if you're flush with cash and you want to send more money over there. You can also post about it on social media. You can tell all your friends about the war and, about how Zelensky is a modern time hero. You can do that if you want to. You can also get your scuba gear, bring explosives, and plant said explosives to sabotage the Nord Stream 2 pipelines. Anybody here who's been a part of doing that last bit? Because that's what we're being told. One of the biggest sabotages in history was planned and acted upon by a pro-Ukrainian group. I wonder where such group would have gotten the resources to blow up a pipeline in the sea. Now, you really have to think, who is the most pro-Ukraine group that you can think of? Who has been providing them with aid and weapons? I'm at a loss as to what country or government this could possibly be. But you guys tell me what you think down in the comments down below. Who could this mystery pro-Ukraine group be? But I digress. But let's get back to the article. It starts off here by saying, quote, "New intelligence reviewed by U.S. officials suggests that a pro-Ukraine group carried out the attack on the Nord Stream pipelines last year, a step towards determining responsibility for an act of sabotage that has confounded investigators on both sides of the Atlantic for months," end quote. So wait, this is the first step? They completely missed Seymour Hersh's piece on the Nord Stream pipelines? This is the first one to talk about it in this sense? It's like riding a horse with blinders or blinkers, whatever they're called. They disregard anything that doesn't fit their narrative and they just go on this one path because that's where they want to lead the people. I'm not calling anyone a horse, just to be clear. It's about the idea of riding one. And just as FYI, I didn't confound Hersh. Are you guys confounded? That's such a weird way of putting it since there's obvious evidence out there, but the likes of Sweden, Germany, and Denmark, they don't want to share it to the world. You have to wonder why though. If they shared what they found, we wouldn't be stuck with all of this confoundment, right? Is confoundment a word? I've never used that before this video. Now, if we go back to November last year, Sweden already confirmed the leaks as a sabotage. They even found traces of explosives at the site during their investigations. They also discovered objects in these sites, but it's 2023 and we haven't seen any of this evidence yet. Also, if we're talking about supporters of Ukraine, that would leave Russia out of the conversation as they obviously don't pass for that. And when you say like pro-Ukrainian, that's a huge swath of countries. This doesn't feel like a step toward getting to the bottom of things. It's more like a drop of hearsay in a swimming pool of doubt. I also listened to an entire podcast from the New York Times, one that was hosted by Michael Barbaro, where they discussed who should be held accountable for these actions. They said it was not Biden, nor was it Putin. Then who, right? They said that they were focusing on countries, but that was supposedly the wrong way to go about it. They even asked this question: could the people who sabotage the pipelines be supporters of Russia? What the heck? Oh yeah, someone who supports Putin would do that. That's why they blew up his pipeline. I support McDonald's. That's why I get a Whopper every Friday night. See how that doesn't make sense at all? In this more than 20-minute podcast, it took them like 15 minutes to say that this attack was probably done by a pro-Ukrainian group. Wow, freaking geniuses, huh? Now, it's not a knock on his podcast, but it does show just how little they actually know. And no evidence was actually provided to prove that the attack wasn't from a government or country. It was basically just an opinion-based discussion. But maybe there's proof, right? right? Well, hear what DW News, a media outlet in Germany who prides itself with providing impartial news and information, had to say about all of this, since 3 German media outlets were investigating the pipelines and came up with this news detail.
Right, I should say, first of all, these are unconfirmed reports, but they're by some of Germany's most respected media organisations like the public broadcaster ARD and the newspaper Die Zeit. And what they've got is many concrete details about what they say happened with the Nord Stream explosions. They say that prosecutors, investigators have identified the boat that was used in the operation to blow up the pipelines, a yacht that it is reported was rented from a firm in Poland that apparently belonged to 2 Ukrainian nationals. So that's one concrete link with Ukraine. They say investigators have found that 6 people were on board and involved in the operation, including divers and medical personnel. Their nationalities are unknown because fake passports were used to rent this yacht. And then they go on with more details that the location of this boat was tracked leaving Rostock in northern Germany and was subsequently located near a Danish island in the Baltic Sea. And according to these German media reports, as I say, is what they are at the moment, a Western intelligence agency had already warned or suggested some months ago that a pro-Ukrainian group, as it's described, could have been behind the explosions of the Baltic Nord Stream pipelines. So quite a lot of detail, which tends to sort of corroborate some of these claims, I suppose.
I want you guys to notice what they said in the beginning. These are unconfirmed reports, but since this came from some of Germany's most respected news outlets, we should believe them. Seymour Hersh is a Pulitzer Prize-winning U.S. reporter with that sort of pedigree. Should we also believe him when he says that this attack could only have been done by the United States? And isn't it convenient that no nationalities who figured out besides the 2 Ukrainian nationals? Maybe those 2 should be questioned. What do you guys think? Will we ever find out the truth about this entire ordeal? Or is this report merely a distraction? Something that will make us forget about who the true culprits are? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Damage to infrastructure, especially something as big as this, it has many global repercussions, one of which affects our climate, and of course, there's also the supply of gas to Europe. It's easy to see why they have an energy crisis over there, something that has driven up energy prices. It's not too good here at home too, as we continue to face inflation that's stickier than flex tape. The struggle of the working American continues to this day, where good paying opportunities, they seem to be far and few in between. But that should not be the case for you. Yeah, I'm talking to who's watching this video right now. What if I told you that there was a better way back to financial freedom by utilizing money-making methods that either created multiple streams of income, like side hustles or small businesses, or even those that can make you money while you sleep, much like investments in the real estate market or the stock market? Well, how do you begin though, right? Well, step 1 will be looking in the description of this video and joining us over in the Patreon community. There is a link in the description down below. I look forward to hearing from you guys soon. But before I go, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up for the video. Also subscribe for your daily dose of the truth. I appreciate you guys watching. Please be kind to one another, and I'll see you on the next one.